There was a time before the whispers, before the fear, before silence became part of their home, when Benita's family was happy. Not rich, not powerful, just peaceful. A little girl sitting between her mother and father, laughing under the evening sun, completely unaware that one day, everything would disappear. Every morning, her mother dressed her for school with so much love, like she was protecting something precious. And maybe she was, because sometimes, mothers already see danger long before it arrives. Benita never understood why her mother always looked over her shoulder whenever they stepped outside. At 8 years old, she thought it was normal. She did not know fear was already living around them. But before the story continues, if you enjoy emotional African stories filled with secrets, betrayal, hidden truths, and powerful endings, take a second to subscribe to this channel and tell me in the comments. Do you think some family secrets should remain buried forever? Or should the truth always come out no matter the pain? 20 years later, the little girl who once laughed freely became the woman everybody whispered about. Benita Delima was not the kind of woman people forgot. She grew into a beautiful lady, not because she was loud, not because she was rich, but because every single time her name was mentioned inside the community, people lowered their voices. Some stories were told openly, hers was not. Whenever Benita passed near roadside shops, conversations changed immediately. Women who had been laughing moments earlier suddenly became quiet. Eyes shifted, faces stiffened, and silence followed her like a shadow. At first, she pretended not to notice. Even inside church, the distance remained. A mother gently pulling her child closer away from Benita's seat. Another woman avoiding eye contact during prayer. Nobody insulted her directly. That was the painful part. It was always silent rejection, the kind that slowly breaks somebody from inside. Still, Benita continued smiling, or at least, she tried to. Outside church, she greeted neighbors politely. But behind that soft smile was emotional exhaustion, because deep down, she knew something was wrong. She just didn't know what. Their family compound had become painfully quiet over the years. Old walls, faded paint, empty spaces filled with memories nobody discussed anymore. Every evening, Benita walked through that compound carrying questions heavier than words. Questions nobody wanted to answer. Dinner with her father felt more like silence than family. Spoons moved quietly, eyes avoided each other. Conversations died before they even began. And every single night. Benita felt the same thing. Distance. Not ordinary distance. The kind built from fear. One night, she finally noticed something strange. There was not a single photograph of her mother anywhere inside the house. Not one. No wedding picture, no family frame, nothing. It was almost like somebody had erased her existence completely. That night, Benita asked the question again, the same question she had asked since childhood. What really happened to my mother? Her father froze instantly. His expression hardened, and the atmosphere inside the room changed immediately, like the question itself carried danger. That same night, Benita was outside of their compound, worried and wanting to know what happened to her mother. Then suddenly, an elderly man came to her. Then finally, he spoke. Leave dead things buried. And without another word, he walked away, leaving Benita standing there, more confused than ever before, because people only bury things deeply when they are terrified of somebody finding them. That night, Benita could not sleep. She stared endlessly at the ceiling while memories and questions fought inside her mind. Outside, the community was quiet. But inside her, something had already started changing. For the first time in years, her fear finally had shape. Some days after, in the evening after church, Benita was already leaving the compound when she heard quiet voices behind her. Two elderly women stood near the church fence, speaking carefully in whispers. The kind of whispers people use when discussing something dangerous. At first, Benita ignored them, but then she heard her name, and immediately, her steps slowed down. Then suddenly, one sentence escaped their lips, a sentence that froze the air around her. That girl does not even know who her mother truly was. Benita's heartbeat stopped, her eyes widened slowly, because for the first time in years, someone had finally spoken about her mother, and whatever they knew, they were terrified of it. Benita stood completely still outside the church gate. People walked past her. Voices echoed around the street. But inside her mind, everything had gone silent. Questions flooded her thoughts at once. Who was her mother really? Why was everybody always afraid? And why had her father spent years hiding the truth? Then suddenly the women turned, and the moment they saw Benita standing there, their faces changed instantly. Fear, shock, regret. Nobody said another word, because they already knew. She had heard everything. Without explanation, the women hurried away, not even looking back at her, leaving Benita alone outside the church gate, with 1,000 unanswered questions sitting heavily inside her chest. That night, the silence around her no longer felt normal. It felt intentional. Benita returned home. She became restless. She could not sleep. She sat quietly on her bed for hours, replaying the sentence repeatedly inside her head. That girl does not even know who her mother truly was. For years, she had lived with confusion. But now, that confusion finally had shape, and somehow, that made it even more frightening. The next morning, Benita made a decision. If nobody wanted to tell her the truth, then she would find it herself, quietly, carefully, without letting her father know. So while he was away, she entered his room for the first time in years, and immediately, her heart began racing. She searched through old storage boxes one after another, old wrappers, forgotten papers, dust-covered belongings untouched for years, but nothing explained anything. Nothing connected to her mother. Nothing gave her answers, until finally, she noticed something hidden deep inside the cabinet. A small wooden case carefully hidden beneath faded clothes. Benita's hands trembled slightly as she pulled it out slowly. For some reason, her body already sensed the truth before opening it. The room suddenly felt heavier, like the past itself was waiting inside that box. Inside the case was an old photograph, half damaged by time, but still visible enough. Benita stared silently at the woman standing beside her mother. Then slowly, she turned the photograph over, and written behind it were 2 words. BENITA DELIMA. Not her own name, her mother's. And at that exact moment, Benita realized her entire life had been built on hidden truths. She slowly turned the photograph around, and suddenly, everything inside her froze. Written behind the picture were 2 words, BENITA DELIMA. Not her own name. Benita read the name repeatedly again and again, as if hoping the words would disappear, but they remained there quietly, like a truth waiting too long to be discovered. The next morning, Benita began asking quiet questions around the community, but nobody answered her directly. Some avoided eye contact, others suddenly became uncomfortable around her, and slowly, the silence started feeling intentional. Everywhere Benita went, conversations suddenly stopped. People who laughed moments earlier became silent immediately. Even familiar faces now looked nervous around her. It was as if her mother's name carried fear inside the village, and nobody wanted to be connected to it. The elders feared her questions the most. Whenever Benita greeted them respectfully, they exchanged worried looks, then quickly walked away. Nobody wanted to speak about the past anymore, especially not her mother's past. One quiet evening, an elderly woman watched Benita carefully from across the road. Unlike the others, she did not avoid her. Her eyes carried pity instead of fear, as though she already knew the burden Benita was carrying. The old woman finally spoke softly. "Your mother was never evil, she simply knew the truth." Benita felt her heartbeat rise immediately, because deep inside, she knew those words were about to change everything. Benita walked home slowly that evening. The entire road suddenly felt unfamiliar. For years, she believed the village hated her mother without reason. But now, the truth was beginning to reveal itself piece by piece. That night, for the very first time, she yelled at her father. Benita reopened everything she had hidden away. The photograph, the old wrappers, the scattered papers across her bed, and for the first time, she began connecting the pieces together. One day, she went to market. The women inside the local market heard the rumors. Benita was asking questions again, questions they buried years ago. Publicly, they remained respected, but privately, fear had already entered their hearts. The whispers around Benita grew louder. People watched her carefully inside the market. Some moved away when she approached. Others whispered behind her back nervously. And slowly, the entire community atmosphere began changing again. One woman finally stopped Benita beside the roadside. Her voice trembled with fear. "Some truths destroy lives," she warned quietly. "Please, stop searching before it is too late." But Benita could no longer turn back. That night, her father finally broke down emotionally. Years of silence collapsed inside one painful moment. Tears filled his eyes uncontrollably, and Benita stood there frozen, watching fear destroy the strongest man she knew. "I was trying to keep you alive." Those words shattered Benita completely. Suddenly, the silence around her entire life made sense. The whispers, the rejection, the fear people carried around her family. Benita's father flashed back to what happened and finally opened up to her. 20 years ago, your mother had discovered terrible secrets years ago. Powerful men inside the community were secretly trafficking young girls. Families were silenced quietly. Victims disappeared without justice. And the people trusted to protect the village were the same people destroying innocent lives. But Benita's mother refused to stay silent. She secretly protected frightened girls. She confronted dangerous men publicly, and even after multiple warnings, she refused to abandon the truth. That courage eventually made her a target. Her father begged desperately for her to stop fighting. He feared those men deeply. He feared losing his family completely. But Benita's mother believed silence was more dangerous than fear, and that decision changed everything forever. Then one painful morning, the village woke up to devastating news. Benita's mother was gone. No proper explanation. No justice. Only silence buried beneath fear. But years later, her daughter finally brought the truth back into the light. Families began speaking again. Victims finally shared their pain openly, and for the first time in years, the name BENITA DELIMA was spoken without fear. Sometimes, the most dangerous people are not the ones who speak, but the ones who force others into silence. Benita's mother died trying to protect innocent lives, and the same people who feared her truth tried to bury her name forever. But no matter how long truth is hidden, one day, it always finds its voice. Because silence may protect evil for a moment, but courage can free an entire generation.